Sorry about that, I've had to do this as a part two. I got one of the parents, absolute lovely chap, chairman of the South Sounding, popped over just to ask me about tomorrow with Bala. He said, "Oh, you weren't recording, were you?" And I said, no, I wasn't, but I was. But I didn't want to look rude. You know, it's something that I pride myself on, not being rude. And if I ever am, I apologise. I don't mean it. Unless you've really annoyed me, and maybe I do mean it, or do I not? No, we don't know. Anyway, so going back about the overlap, we're talking about the overlap, all right? So Peter Schmeichel, Jill Scott, Gary Neville, Roy Keane. I love Roy Keane, absolute great mindset. The guy, the guy was, just tunnel vision, eyes like Eye of the Tigers, the lot. That kind of hard mentality player, but. It was Peter Schmeichel on this one. Absolutely, what a keeper Peter was. Do you know what? Funny true story. This, one of the dinner ladies used to, when I was only young, when I was back in Victoria Juniors. Shout out to them. They used to. She used to say I looked like Peter Schmeichel when I was younger. I had a lot brighter blonde hair than I do now, which obviously is probably brown to some. Some try to say it's ginger, I don't know. But anyway, yeah, that was Peter Schmeichel, and so she actually took my picture and sent it into the Daily Mirror. They used to do this Ringers, Dead Ringers, it was called, and I was in the paper once upon a time when I was younger for looking like Peter Schmeichel. I wouldn't say I look like him now too much. I'd say he's a bit more uglier than me. That is a joke, but no, but Peter, what a player! I got to see him live a couple of times playing for Man United, but one of the occasions that I remember the most was watching this guy pick out the ball with his hand, just one hand, and grab it like that. Absolutely wonderful. Playing for Denmark, it was against Wales. Basically, it was at Anfield because Wales used to play at Anfield back when the Millennium Stadium was getting built. And his presence was fantastic, and the way he used to, dominate his defence. I think he'd shout at the defence just for looking at him. But what an absolutely legendary goalkeeper! I thought, and it was something that why it brought this This conversation forth was about modern goalkeepers, and I think Roy Keane got onto a conversation because. Gary Neville apparently had praised who was it, one of the keepers, for coming to collect the crosses, and Roy touched on a great point, and it was something that I am seeing more and more when I'm watching like the Premier League and stuff like that these days. But goalkeepers seem to stay on their line a little bit more, and gone are the days of when like Big Nev, Schmeichel, Seaman, they will come and collect crosses, and they would dominate the 6-yard box, even up to the penalty spot. And I'm noticing maybe, it was mainly I noticed it with people like David De Gea. God bless him. What a keeper. I'm glad he's done well in the last couple of days. He's gone and proved everyone that he's not washed up, and with saving 2 penalties against AC Milan. Absolute wonderful reactive type of keeper. But I used to notice it with likes of David. They used to just basically stand on the line, and not come and collect and react sometimes to crosses and stuff like that. And you know what? When you look at it and you think about it, it's something that the modern game's kind of like missing. And Roy Keane had mentioned it in the overlap about. But it's their job. We're now going to be, congratulating players for tying their shoelaces. And, Roy's absolutely right, because keepers, in my opinion, should be coming to collect crosses. And I think two of the goalkeepers that I look at today who remind me of the old school styled keepers like your Peter Schmeichels was someone like Manuel Neuer, and Alisson is probably the closest to that point, but yeah, I just thought about, Peter, what a keeper, and incredible leader, it was great to hear his backstory as well, and it was something again that touched on it, and I thought about it more and more and more when I was listening, and then and it was great to hear that Peter Schmeichel had actually gone through experience of working up until about 23, and he was going through the hardships of basically you know training twice a week, being tired, being a carpet fitter and stuff like that, and going to football tired because he'd been working all day, you know, like a lot of semi-professionals do, you know, and they still do to this day, you know, and some people maybe in like the Conference North and South and stuff like that. But Roy Keane, but he also came through a system where he'd gone from, you know, amateur to semi-pro to Bromby to Manchester United, and then obviously a pro. And he also got a bit of life experience behind him. And people like Roy Keane had similar experiences, but you know, he started off in the you know, the Irish Premier. I think it was with Cork, was it, something like that. But it was quite interesting to see that, you know, and I think this is more reflection on Sir Alex Ferguson, that on the type of player he was looking for. He was looking for players who had life experience and experienced the lower levels and understood the graft and the hardships and stuff like that, and that's what probably made them winners. So I think that was the thought from watching the overlap, was basically it was them hardships that made those players to what they were, to become the world's best goalkeeper, the world's best tough tackling centre midfielder. And it was just so interesting, and they touched on the fact that, you know, you wouldn't hear about that in the modern society now, in the modern day, where players think that they got to go through academies. And you know, some of the stories I've got to hear from being around some of the academy coaches, like at Man City and that, and the same players have just got this like self-entitled attitude, but yet like Roy Keane and Peter Schmeichel never had a self-entitled personalities. They were humble, and you know, they all they wanted to do was play football and play for Manchester United, and they wanted to work hard and earn their trade and so on. And I think that's just, you know, on reflection, to try and bring this to a conclusion, that what today's topic's been about, I think it's about learning through you know, learned experiences and hardship that makes people who they are. And yeah, you know, listening to, I think that's what sometimes is missing in this modern game. And knowing, and also, you know, when we talk about it from a goalkeeper's point of view, you know, we're missing those type of dominating characters in goal. I think the closest we've probably got is, you know, who I see, but he's, you know, I think he's great, like is Pickford, but I just feel that there's something missing there, and I miss the types of the characters like your Oliver Kahns and your Peter Schmeichels. But no, it was just something that, you know, when in terms of development, is that player, you know, those type of the players that went on to win in the end, because they'd suffered hardship, they have suffered long journeys, they suffered those experiences to try and get where they wanted to be. And I think that was what came from it. But go and watch the overlap, it's fantastic. But also at the same time, please like and subscribe our YouTube page. You might find it boring, you might find it good, you might think what the hell is this, but I don't know. But we're giving it a go. Who cares? You know, we only live once, I guess. And there's no pride in your grave. So we might as well give this a go. We're here once, so let's just enjoy it, baby. Anyway, right, listen, like and subscribe. It's been a pleasure. See you all soon. Good night, God bless. Over and out.